Hello and welcome back to Newsmin. It's the 14th of September and right now it's time for a quick Guild Wars 2 news update. In this episode we're talking Endgame, World vs. World and patch notes. First up, over on the official site, Mike Z talks about ArenaNet's vision regarding Endgame content. The whole idea with Guild Wars 2 was to avoid the common problem in many MMOs, grinding through chunks of boring, repetitive content to get to occasional pockets of fun. These come in the form of loot, rewards, or progression. With Guild Wars 2, things are, as most of you no doubt already know, a little bit different, and ArenaNet wanted the entire gameplay experience to be something that players enjoyed, regardless of how much time they could dedicate to it. They didn't want the endgame to be something that you could only experience after 100 hours of gameplay, or after you've reached some arbitrary number, like max level, a certain item level, or gear score, or anything like that. No! They wanted it to be something that players could experience every step of the way, spread out across the entire world of Tyria. And so, they've introduced game elements that you'd normally associate with Endgame at every level and at every possible opportunity. This rather lengthy blog post covers all of it. Dynamic events, story and explorable mode dungeons, gigantic world bosses, crafting and the Mystic Forge, PvP, achievements and much more. Well worth a read. Next up, yesterday Mike Ferguson posted something really interesting on the official forums. The current up-to-date World vs. World stand-ins for all worlds, both US and EU. All the way at the top of the US rankings you'll see Henge of Denvari, Stormbluff Isle and Eridon Terrace. At the top of EU with a huge lead is Vizuna Square, followed by Riverside and Far Shiver Peaks. If you weren't aware, at launch, servers were being randomly paired for 24 hours without any rating system included at all. Then, starting from the 1st of September, ArenaNet began recording the results, the wins, the losses, the lot of it, and pairing the higher ranked servers against each other, and obviously the lower ranked servers against each other as well. The World vs. World matchups have continued to reset every 24 hours since then, and starting this weekend, that's all going to change. The match that ends on Friday, September the 14th, is scheduled to be the last 24-hour match. The match starting directly after that, also on Friday, will be 1 week in length. These 1 week matches will carry on for a couple of weeks before switching to the 2-week format, and that is set to be the long-term standard. Being paired against the same server for that amount of time is just gonna be weird. And awesome, I guess. We were told that the 24-hour matches served their purpose and were good for getting servers into initial ranking brackets, but they did also significantly change how people were actually meant to approach the game and World vs. World on the whole. Come this weekend and the 1 week matches, people will probably feel a little bit better about and see more use in claiming those keeps, investing resources into them, doing things like actually paying to set the siege equipment up, and the servers will probably form some sort of intimate and hateful battle bond with each other. That too, you know? And that could be fun. I'm actually pretty keen for the 1 week matches myself. If you're interested in reading more about this, I think you know where to look. And while you're down there are a couple of links regarding World vs. World queues, overnight World vs. World, upcoming content updates, and much more that you should probably check out. Be sure to let me know where your server is in those rankings. We're not actually doing that bad on Aurora Glade, and to celebrate, the Illuminati are probably going to be gearing up for some glorious battle this weekend. I'll have a post up on the forums about that soon. Our last piece of news in this episode will just be a quick mention. The latest set of game status updates and patch notes are out. These are for the 14th of September. There are general changes, class changes, bug fixes, and all sorts of other goodies. The biggest or most interesting are probably the World vs. World changes that were made to make things a little bit more balanced, or at least play out better come the 1 week matches. The scoring interval was changed from 5 to 15 minutes, Stone Mist is now worth less points, and much more. You can read them all below if you are interested. If all of that wasn't enough, here are a couple of smalls. Don't forget that the official forums are now up and running over at guildwars2.com. Nvidia users rejoice, there are some more drivers to download and these ones are no longer in beta. And lastly, Guild Wars 2 has broken 2 million sales and is currently the #1 most played game. This is above League of Legends and Call of Duty. That is pretty impressive, and that's it for this episode. Remember to check the description below this video for everything that I spoke about and more. Like the video and do all that other good stuff, and most importantly, happy 1 week World vs. World matches. Happy that.